Okay, so I'm back at the bus. The agenda for today is to try to hang this door, thus finishing the outside skinning completely. And I'm also going to clean up inside the bus, getting a pressure washer going here if I have enough time. After that, I'll be practicing my spray gun, which I've never done. My spray gun technique, I'm going to use the HVLP to do a white coat of paint. More like painting practice, but to also rust protect the inside of these panels. We're going to hit a white coat of paint inside the bus. Just one coat, just to kind of, like I said, keep rust at bay. You see some rust starting up a little bit from just the panels being out in the elements before they were mounted. But anyhow, that's what I'm doing. Okay, so I put the the hinge on here. Okay, so I put the hinge on here with a self-centering pilot bit here for number 12 screws, and then I had lined this up with the edge at a 90 and clamped it, drilled the pilots, and then I screwed in each of these little screws. And at this point we're going to take it over to the side of the bus and fit it in place. And I'll mark some holes for rivets for this side. We're going to rivet to the flange, or to the jamb. Okay, so I have the door riveted in place all the way up. Now the moment of truth will be, how well does it open and close? So we're about to find out. Alright, so it does open and close. It's a little bit of a tight fit around here where the deadbolt's going to go. I may whack this with a heavy hammer a few times to increase the gap a little bit in the middle. You can see that the frame still bows in the middle a bit. So this is the first time I've ever built something like this, so it's not going to be perfect. But all's well that ends well. The door closes and opens. The gap up there, I've decided I'm going to trim the outside edge with a piece of metal. Just kind of running up and down. And I'll probably do the same at the top as well. Just trim out the edge with some metal. That'll help protect from weather as well. Okay, so back at the bus here. Got a few things I'm going to do. Got some stuff from Amazon, a deadbolt, some pulls for the door, some what do they call those? The struts, pneumatic struts for the back window. So hopefully by the time I leave here today, I'll have tidied up this mess inside the bus, installed the struts on the back window, maybe put the deadbolt on the door and the handles, and then hopefully pressure wash the floor here inside the bus. If I can do all that in a couple hours, then it's pretty good. It's awfully hot right now. That fan's not making much of a dent. It's about 90 some degrees outside. Alright, so we're going to remove the old struts, and I'm wire wheeling these plates. These will get riveted back to the new hat channel caps with the new struts for the back windows. So right now I'm just cleaning them up so that I can spray paint them. Okay, so those are hit with a coat of paint. They'll get riveted to the hat channels and ultimately covered up mostly with wood. So just wanted to keep a coat of paint on them to keep them from rusting. Alright, so while I'm waiting for those strut mounts to dry, I'm going to try fitting this stainless steel deadbolt into the side door. So got this from Amazon, 10 or 15 bucks. So we'll get this installed right here in the one opening that would normally be for a doorknob, but I'm going to use a different kind of a pull on the outside at a lower level, and on the inside at a higher level it'll be a marine style pull to pull the door open or closed. Okay, so what I'm going to do right now is close up this air intake. I've got to go get a tube of caulk to put behind the seams here. Then I think I'm going to just use 3/8 or 3/16 rivets for the most part. I'll need to bend a little bit of metal here kind of fill that gap in. I'll caulk a heavy bead up in here. This will ultimately be spray foamed. And we just need to get this mostly airtight and then spray foam the rest. This will be covered up as well with insulation sheet and trim and wood and whatnot. Alright, so I'm getting this piece of scrap metal here put in place in the middle, and then I'll clad that with some more scrap metal with a bend in it for the corner here. And it'll get caulked and foamed in place so that it's watertight. Okay, so I cut and bent this piece of metal to fit that spot. Hopefully it fits. We're about to find out. So I'm in the middle of riveting this panel in place. It's a decent fit. It's very hot inside the bus. Sweating profusely, even with the fan blowing on me. Summertime. Okay, so I got these strut plates riveted on both sides. Now I'm going to connect the lift struts. Pardon the lighting, it's getting dusk, but I don't have lights on inside the bus. So I'm going to snap the new struts in place, top and bottom here. Okay, so I had to go outside and use a ladder to lift the window up high enough, but I got the struts popped on. I don't know if I'll be able to close the window. Hopefully it's not too many pounds of pressure on the two struts. We'll find out in a second. Okay, so right here I've finished putting the intake extension in with the bent metal. I just use a piece of angle in the corner where the gap was there. There will be spray foam in behind and in that alcove right there to block off airflow, as well as that one. So at this point that part's done, and now I'm going to put handles on the side door. Okay, so I've used some quarter stainless machine screws to put this plate on both sides. I need to buy some more screws. These were a little long, they need to be trimmed down, but the other ones I got were a little short. I forgot there were 4 holes per plate instead of 2, so I gotta go get some more. But these will need some washers, or I need to grind down the back of the screws a little bit. So probably just put washers on the inside and tighten it down. But these pulls are stainless marine pulls from Amazon. I got these instead of a regular doorknob because I think it'll be just better for leverage to pull the door open since it's a bit tight. So anyhow, that's what I'm up to. Okay, so back at the bus. Today is fortunately a drizzly, cooler, kind of misty day. It's not coming down hard for rain, but it's only about 70. So contrast that with the almost 100-degree temperatures we've been having, and it's a great day to clean out the bus. So I shouldn't have to lose pounds and pounds to sweat here today. But the idea today is to clean all the debris out. I'm going to run that pressure washer on the floor, and from there I'm going to probably start painting if I have time today with the spray. I got a Harbor Freight HVLP gun. I'm going to spray white paint as much as I can. I might have to scrape the tape off the ceiling, but the idea here is to rust treat, especially the walls where the virgin metal is. You can see the little bit of rust there. I'd like to coat it in paint to keep it in check as far as rust goes, but I'll have to cover up the windows with plastic. I'll just use these clips around the edge to cover the front area, and probably paper. I'll tape paper over the other windows. But the idea here is to get ready for putting flooring in. I'm also going to be measuring for insulation sheets and getting an estimate from a local guy not far from here who does factory seconds of isofoam insulation, and he cuts it to custom sizes as well, so it could save me a lot of work and be very affordable. It's basically less than half the price of store-bought insulation. So put the isofoam in and have it at the right width, and maybe use spray cans for the edges. It's just hard to argue with the price of doing that versus spray foam with that local guy who does the factory seconds and can actually cut it. Okay, so slowly but surely I'm making progress tidying up here, trying to get all the stuff out of the bus, take it over to the pavilion so I can pressure wash. Okay, so I found the floor and I've got the pressure washer about ready to set up here. Tarped off the front window with some plastic. I'll lay something over that corner as well, some cardboard or whatnot. So my intention right now is to pressure wash up to where I stopped painting the red. The front of the bus is a whole project unto itself. When I put the floor in, I'll probably stop at that somewhere right in here across. I have to take some measurements. I'll probably stop where the separator wall is going to be built. My intention is that there will be a sliding door here underneath the overcab bunk, which will be at that level right there, so that the cab is separate to add a little bit of extra security, since I'm going to leave the original bus door in place, and also for thermal reasons at night. I'm not thinking I'll be able to put as much insulation in the front, but yeah, that is the plan. So when I put the initial flooring in, it's going to stop somewhere up here. I've got to do something else in the front. I might do like rhino liner, or I'm not sure. I've got to think through that plan. But it's going to be different than the level of insulation and wood in the back of the bus behind the driver area. But right now I'm going to pressure wash the floor, then let the fan run to dry the flooring. I may then start painting the side walls. Doesn't have to be a great paint job, just to keep the rust at bay. And it's really also for me to practice using the HVLP gun for the exterior paint job, which will happen later. I've never really spray painted with a compressor, so it'll help get me trained as far as how to do it. I've watched a few videos, but never actually put it in practice. So anyhow, that's what I'm doing. Pressure washing is next. Okay, so I've pressure washed. I just shut the fan off. I'll turn it back on in a minute, but I'm trying to dry this floor. I did spritz the walls to get the dust off of them, but the next step here would be, after I get the bus dried out, to hook up the HVLP gun, and I'm going to cover that window up there and this window up here, and do a better job on that one with the cardboard. And then we'll spray white paint in here on basically all around. I'll probably get the ladder in a minute and start scraping tape off I'll leave the tape on the ceiling. It's already painted, so I might not even paint the ceiling. Yeah, I'm not painting the ceiling. I'll just do the walls and the floor with the white paint, since the ceiling's already still got a decent coat of paint on it. But anyhow, once the bus dries out from the pressure washing, I'll hook up the gun and start spray painting. Okay, so I moved this compressor into the other shop building here because the auto shop is having an electrical problem. So anyhow, it's getting up to pressure. I'm going to mix up the paint and connect the HVLP gun. Okay, so I shook the paint and opened it. I've got the Tyvek suit ready to put on. Saving that for right before painting so I don't get overheated. And got the paint thinner. I'm going to mix this white gloss tractor paint. This is Magic brand from Tractor Supply. I'm going to mix it at 6 ounces versus 8 ounces of the paint. So that'll be 4 to 3. I'm not using any hardener inside the bus. But that should be a good sprayable mix. And I've got this Harbor Freight $15 HVLP gun. I bought like a $6 regulator they had, and some disposable paint cups for it. So, you know, going economical here, just practicing HVLP spraying. So next I'm going to get the Tyvek suit on, this cheap hat on, and some gloves. Yeah, I guess not gloves. It's not a big deal. The Tyvek suit and the hat. And I got my N95 mask on. I don't have a respirator, probably should, but this should keep the worst of the paint from getting in my lungs here for safety gear. So I'll probably also go grab some safety goggles to cover my glasses so they don't get a bunch of paint on them as well. But I'll take another clip after I've started spraying and have the first cup empty. Okay, so looking at the back of the bus, that is about 16 ounces of paint. I got the top of the shroud, the back wall, and a couple panels. So this gallon ought to probably do the whole bus, but I was expecting it to be less paint, but it makes sense, I guess, that it wouldn't be much less coverage than with a roller, honestly, if you're getting it covered. So anyhow, I'm going to get back at it, mix up another batch of paint here. Okay, so the spray gun clogged up. Now I'm just rollering and brushing. Still thinning the paint a little bit. The idea here is just a rust prevention coat over stuff that's going to all be covered with other materials. So it doesn't have to look pretty, just has to get covered. You know, just trying to also make it so that the inside of the bus is easier to see in while we're working until we get the wall covering up. White's a good color for reflecting a light. So anyhow, that's what I'm doing. Spray gun quit. Worked for about 2 fills and then clogged up somehow, even though I was using filters. So, you know, mixed bag with Harbor Freight. Mostly crappy though. Alright, so this is the point at which I ran out of that 1 gallon of paint. So again, it doesn't have to look pretty. Just trying to coat it, make sure everything's rust protected. So anyhow, that's it for today. Alright, so I'm back at the bus here today. This paint's all dry. I've moved the cart over. I'm going to clear this area of stuff, and we'll get this last roughly 1/3 of the bus painted. I had that new gallon of paint over there. So that should, with a little thinner, finish this job. And also arranged to get the insulation and plywood. Actually, the insulation I'm buying has OSB, a 1/2-inch OSB on it already, sort of glued to it. So we're going to get that, and that'll be Thursday, when by the end of the weekend I'll have the basic floor in place here. So it's time to start making some important decisions, like where the electrical closet's going to go, where I'm going to put the water drain into the basement of the bus, etc. So I've got to go look at my floor plan and make some decisions on that. But anyhow, that's where I'm at. I'm going to finish painting here. Okay, so I moved the driver's seat out of the way. I got the front end prepared, vacuumed off that ledge. So I'm going to start by going around the top of the cab and painting above the windshield and to the sides there. And then I'll come back here and paint down this way and get the rest of this floor done up to where everything I've finished removing here for wood. Before I put the floor in this week, I'm going to have to cut this platform out, probably remove the front heater, and basically get all the wood I can out from under the dash. That could get fairly involved. I'll probably try to leave a little bit of the white paint here to do the floor treatment before I put the flooring down. But so that is the agenda here, to first do the top, and then finish from where I left off over. Okay, so I'm all done for the day. You can see I got above the cab. I got the walls and the floors covered all with this skim white paint. Just enough to keep the rust from being a problem. And now I'm ready to put flooring in. So that'll happen this week.